The Money Pit podcast is brought to you by FindTape.com, your one-stop shop for tape and more. DIY, sports, arts and crafts, cleaning supplies, you name it. They carry over 100 trusted brands, including industry favorite 3M. 3M's catalog includes household names like Command, Scotch, Bondo, Filtrete, Scotch Blue, and Peltor.
Yes, and I've personally shopped their site and found everything I needed, all at incredible prices. So head on over to findtape.com and stock up on supplies for your next project. You can also receive 10% off your first purchase with promo code MONEYPIT. That's findtape.com, your source for connecting everything, and use the promo code MONEYPIT.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, you live in a money pit.
Money pit.
Pick up the telephone, fix up your home sweet home by calling 888 Money Pit.
Money Pit is presented by Rumble Stone by Pavestone and Super Flapper by Fluid Master. Now, here are Tom and Leslie.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti.
Can't believe it's October. It's a great time to do projects around the house. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You can work inside. You can work outside. It's still far enough away from the holidays where you can actually get something done before all of your friends and family show up. But whatever's on your to-do list, we can help you get it done. So call us right now at 1-888-MONEYPIT because that's what we do, 888-666-3974. Coming up on today's episode, is your kitchen feeling a little dim? Well, we've got the bright ideas you need to transform your space with our top kitchen lighting tips just ahead.
And if you'd like your home to be more energy efficient, one of the first things you need to do is stop wasting the energy you've already got. Insulation is the key to doing just that, so we're going to share some tips.
And you love your pets, but not the odors? Well, we hear you. We're going to share expert tips on how to keep your home smelling great while still being a very cozy space for you and your pets.
All right, so let's get started. From gardening to garages, we are here to help you create your best home ever.
So call us right now. That number again is 1-888-MONEYPIT. That's 888-666-3974. Or for the quickest possible response, go to moneypit.com/ask and click the blue microphone button. Let's get started. Leslie, who's first?
Bella from Bristol, Virginia is joining us here at the Money Pit. What's going on at your house?
We stained our deck with a solid stain a year ago, and not long into the year, the stain started coming up or chipping. So is there a reason for that, and how can you prevent that?
That's too bad. You know, was this deck new when you did this?
No. No, it's about 20 years old.
Normally, the reason that happens is because the deck was too wet when the stain was put down. If it was damp and not fully dried out, and staining decks is tricky because you really got to work with the weather, right? I mean, it can't be too hot because then the stain actually dries too quick. But if it's damp, and even sometimes like the fall and the spring, you know, it's hard to get that right time. You've got to have a good full day or two of sunshine for it to be right to take that. So at this point, what I would do, unless it's really coming off in sheets, is what I would do is I would occasionally, every 2, maybe 3 months, is I would scrape off the loose spots and then just touch it up and kind of just nurse it along that way. Because unfortunately, the only real solution here is to strip it all off, and that's just a big project. And if it's not coming off in big sheets, I would try to nurse it along.
Yeah, it's not coming off in sheets.
We do get those calls as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sorry we didn't have better news for you, but that's the best thing to do right now.
All right, time to talk foundations with Randy from Missouri. What's going on at your Money Pit?
A few months ago, I had my foundation jacked up from underneath, and they did a good job, in my opinion. What they recommended me doing is sealing the entire foundation and even sealing the vents. And my vents were the biggest question. They want to seal off all my vents.
So look, first of all, I hope these guys were engineers and not just people that are in the foundation repair business, because there's a lot of guys out there that are, they're just foundation repair people and they don't know as much as engineers. And frankly, in my opinion, a lot of them shouldn't be doing the repairs they're doing. But aside from that issue, your question is really about moisture. And sure, a crawl space is going to have dampness and a basement's going to have dampness to it. What they're talking about is to seal the entire foundation and vents from the inside. That's an approach. I don't know if it's necessary for you. If you want to reduce the moisture that's down there, there's some very basic things that you can do that will accomplish that. First of all, you would put down, and this is a dirt foundation, a dirt floor?
A dirt floor, yes.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do is put down a plastic vapor barrier and as few seams as possible, basically cover the entire floor with plastic sheeting that you'd buy at a home center. And buy the thick stuff because it's easier to work with and just overlap it. And then once you've done that, the vents should be open except for, say, November through January on the foundation. And then what you want to do is reduce the amount of moisture that gets down there in the first place. And for that, you're going to go outside and look up at your roof line and your gutters. They've got to be clean. They've got to be free-flowing. If you can get out there in a really nasty rainstorm and see what's happening with water that's getting into those gutters, you want to see all of it coming out those downspouts and not overflowing in any way, shape, or form. If we know the gutters are working really well, then we look at the downspouts, because typically most downspouts are discharging within a foot or two of the foundation. If you've got crawl space moisture, you want to get those out 4, 5, 6 feet. So you get some leader material at the home center, attach it to the end of those downspouts, do a good job, screw the sections together, and then that water will discharge away from the foundation and not find its way back into that crawl space area. And lastly, take a look at your grading. If the soil around the house is flat, or if it's retaining water, because sometimes we do things like have like landscape borders and things like that that tend to trap water against the foundation. The goal here, Randy, is to move the water away from the foundation through all the methods that we suggested. And it's as simple as that. If you do that, that will do a lot to reduce the humidity and the moisture in that crawl space. If you want to do one more thing, you could put in a crawl space dehumidifier. I got one down in my crawl space. It's made by Santa Fe. It's not the kind that sits on the floor with the bucket that has to be emptied. It basically hangs off like a sort of an ingenious suspension system that they design with their systems, and it hangs from the underside of the floor joist, actually. So when it comes on, the vibration doesn't bother you or anything, and does a good job, and then that just pumps right outside. So those are the sorts of things I would do rather than seal the entire foundation at this point.
Okay, thank you now.
Hey, you want to support our podcast and help us grow? Well, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll be forever grateful. Plus, you'll be helping other homeowners discover our show. Just go to moneypit.com/review.
Hey, here's a great solution to an annoying problem. Have you ever had a toilet just start to run or ghost flush on you? Well, if that's the case, the reason it's doing is because the flapper is leaking. Well, Fluid Master is out with a new product called the new Super Flapper. It stops noisy, running toilets from wasting water and flushing your cash down the drain. It's easy to install. It retails for $14.98, but we're going to give away a package of 3 to one lucky listener that calls us with their home improvement question. So do that right now at 1-888-MONEYPIT.
Are you a professional pillow fighter or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
All right, let's head down south to the Sunshine State, where we've got Judith in Florida on the line. What's happening?
Hey, well, I've got a house that was, it's an old Florida house. It was built in 1958, and the original owners were, I guess, more on the high end of lifestyle. So I was told by many contractors that the house was built with all of the best materials. The problem is terrazzo floors. I don't know. That's what they put down in airports now. They're very expensive, and they're super durable.
Yeah. Sure.
But I found a fracture, hairline fracture, and it started having some kind of moisture come up through the hairline fracture. It doesn't go throughout the house; it's just in this one section.
Right.
But it comes up, and it's. I've tried to call companies that can do like I wouldn't call it water testing or laboratory testing to see what it is. I've called. I just reached out to every aspect, and I heard you guys on the radio. Yeah. There's a moisture coming up, and it doesn't. Right. It's not It doesn't come like dry and fuzzy and cobwebs like someone said it was something. But it's like I'm going to take you off. It comes up like an oily substance, and it almost smells like vinegar. Very mild, and when you touch it, it has like a little bit of a oily substance feeling, and it's not like it pours out. It comes up, and it's this, and over a period of time, I'll wipe it down, and it comes up like the size of it'll pull up like a quarter.
Here's what I think is going on. The reason you have the stain, this moisture coming up where the crack is, because that's the path of least resistance. I don't think that there's any kind of leak directly under it. I think there's probably leaks, or not leaks, but there's probably high moisture under the entire house. But wherever you have a void, it's going to find its way up. So there's two ways we can address this. One is we could try to reduce the amount of moisture you have around your house. And that's actually fairly straightforward. And it involves looking at the angle of the soil at the perimeter, making sure soil slopes away. But since Florida soils tend to be more sandy and very porous, the more important thing to do would be to look at your gutter system and make sure that there's no gutters discharging anywhere near that area. So if the gutter is clogged, if the downspout is not run at least 4, 5, 6 feet away from the foundation, if you can keep that first few feet around the house drier by managing that roof water through the gutters, there'll be a lot less water to push up into where that crack is. And then the second thing is you could potentially seal that crack. I'm not sure exactly what product I would recommend for that, but I think if it was me, I'd try to clean it real well, let it dry real well. Is the crack open at all?
It's a hairline, so you can't. It's literally a hairline.
I'd probably try to seal it. I'm not quite sure what product I would do. I'd probably experiment with something, but I think what I would do is I'd try taking a little silicone and I'd rub it into the crack to see if I can push it down into the crack a little bit and seal that crack off just a tad. And then you can wipe it off the surface with like a mineral spirits thinner. It will take any excess silicone away. But do it sort of like in a dry fashion. In other words, don't put too much mineral spirits or it'll wash it out. I think I might try a little silicone in that crack and see if I can seal it off or slow it down. That plus improving the amount of water that collects at the foundation perimeter, I think will make a difference. Because generally, we've seen cracks where you have little geysers show up like in the middle of a house that's built like on a slab. And it turns out it's a downspout 20 feet away that was just misdirected or dumping too much water near a part of the foundation and found its way in, and the pressure forces to come up in that area. So I think usually when you have a crack and you have water, that's what causes it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck with that project.
Well, when it comes to kitchen design, one element that often gets overlooked is lighting. But it's actually one of the most crucial aspects of that kitchen design. A well-lit kitchen is not only going to look amazing, but it also makes cooking and entertaining so much easier. So today we're going to dive into some bright ideas for kitchen lighting that can really transform your space.
That's right. And the key to good kitchen lighting is layering. You don't just want one type of light. You want a combination that covers all your needs. So let's break it down. First, you need to have your ambient lighting. This is your general task lighting. Think of it as the foundation. Recessed lights are a great option here. And don't forget about dimmers so you can control the mood.
Absolutely. But you can't forget about task lighting also, because this is what really helps you see what you're doing when you're chopping, cooking, reading those recipes. Under cabinet lights are perfect for this because they shine right onto the countertop, and that's where you actually need the light the most.
And then there's accent lighting, which is kind of like the jewelry of your kitchen. It adds that extra sparkle. So think about pendant lights over an island or inside glass front cabinets. These not only highlight certain areas, but they also sort of add a touch of style and some personality to your kitchen too.
Exactly. And speaking of style, don't be afraid to mix and match different fixtures. A combination of metal finishes or even styles can absolutely add some visual interest, and then that goes and makes your kitchen feel more cohesive.
Now, another tip is to think about your kitchen's color palette when you choose your lighting. If you have a lot of cool tones like blues or grays, you might want to go with warm lighting to kind of balance it out and vice versa.
Yeah, and don't forget about energy efficiency. LED bulbs are a fantastic choice. They last longer, they use less energy than traditional bulbs, plus they come in a variety of color temperatures so you can really customize the feel of your space.
So whether you're remodeling or maybe just looking to update your kitchen's look, paying attention to your lighting can make all the difference. It's a really small change that can have a huge impact.
That's right. And remember, lighting isn't just about function. It's about creating a space that feels welcoming and beautiful. So get creative and let your kitchen shine.
For more tips on kitchen lighting and other home projects, head on over to our website at moneypit.com.
Heading out to Rhode Island, we've got Stuart on the line. What's going on at your money pit?
I've got about a 3,000 square foot home. And when I built the house, I put a hot water heater in the basement, just one hot water heater for the whole house. It's more to one side of the house than the other, so obviously I'm getting hot water pretty quickly on one end. On the other end, it takes forever. I'm wondering how I can split that up. Should I install another regular hot water heater on the other side of the house? Right now I have an electric one on a timer. Or should I put in a tankless hot water heater? Or is there some other way to go to put in hot water on the other side of the house?
So, yeah, the problem you're describing is common, and you have diagnosed it correctly. It's a matter of the time or the speed or the distance that water has to travel. And if you have the water heater in the middle of the house and your bathroom's on the end of the house, you got to wait for that hot water to make its way through the plumbing system before it starts to warm up. Now, the two options are, yes, you could put a second water heater nearer that half of the house, and that will shorten the distance. And tankless is a good option for that. The other option, though, is to use a hot water recirculating system. Check out those by Watts, W-A-T-T-S. The Watts hot water recirculating system consists of a pump that basically will take that hot water line and rotate or circulate the water through it between the water heater and the fixture. And it does so on a timer. So, for example, if you're usually waiting for water for that first early morning shower, you can have the recirculator come on, a half hour before that and warm up the water so that when you turn the faucet on, it gets hot right away, and then go off after that, because you don't want it to run all the time for two reasons. Not only does the recirculating pump use electricity, but the water heater does as well. If it's electric or if it's gas, it's got to run more often to keep that water warm. So check out the hot water circulating systems by Watts. I think that's a good solution to this particular situation.
Sephora stores are everywhere you are. So just pop in when you need a brown lip to match your 90s playlist, a confidence boost before your interview, or a last-minute gift for mom's birthday. There's always a Sephora near you. Just pop in. Use our store locator to find your local Sephora or Sephora at Kohl's.
All right, now we're going to talk to Cindy, who's got a question about a mysterious toilet ring. What's going on?
We've got a strange thing that I clean the bathrooms and clean the toilets, and within about 3 days of cleaning the toilets, both toilets in the house come up with a residue around the water ring, and it looks like dirt. I've never had dirt come up to a water ring in my toilets before. I'm wondering if you might have an idea of what the source is of this.
Now, Cindy, I've never heard of dirt. I mean, I've heard of getting a ring because the water is sitting there. Perhaps it's not a toilet that's used very often. But if you do have a toilet that just needs constant cleaning, and I sort of went this route because I have boy children who are gross in the bathroom, I got a Vormax Plus. This is American Standard. Vormax Plus toilet, and it sort of has a built-in cartridge that you put in, and it's got like a Lysol-based cleaner. So it freshens the toilet, but also sends out this kind of oxygenated foam every time you flush, and it kind of scrubs the toilet on its own. That gives you a leg up on cleaning everything. And that may do the trick. I mean, otherwise, Tom, could it be something that's decaying in the tank? Maybe something with like the ball valve or something?
I mean, I guess it's possible, but I think the Vormax is a good idea. That's kind of a self-cleaning toilet, and I think in this case that'll make it go away. I don't know if you've ever used another type of commercial bowl cleaner, but you could try that as well if you don't want to change the toilet out. But I like the fact that with Vormax, you basically it's dumped into the bowl every time you flush. Of course, the downside of that is you have to keep, ordering them and replacing them. But I think that's a great option.
I mean, I do get the packs of the insert cartridges, like a 6-pack online. So it's like I've always got them sticking around. All right, now we're going to chat with Jim, who's dealing with a problem with a cracked wall. What's the problem, Jim?
Problem with a brick wall behind my garage, long back wall with a vertical crack that's 6 feet long, separating a quarter to 3/8 of an inch. And I need to know how to diagnose it or find out what's really going on behind that, whether to seal it or get a contractor.
Well, Jim, if you have a crack that's open 3/8 of an inch, that's a lot on a vertical crack. So we need to know, first of all, whether it's active or not. Active meaning it's still getting bigger, or is it just something that happened and sort of settled down? Why it happened, there could be lots of reasons. There could be debris in the soil that rotted away, that often happens around garages where they leave construction debris that gets buried by soil. And when it deteriorates, the soil will sort of settle in and cause voids, and that causes some movement. Could be a drainage problem. I don't know. But we got to know whether it's active or not. If it's not active, then it could be sealed just to keep water out. But if it is active, then you might need a structural repair. Unfortunately, while a lot of contractors will claim to have the expertise to do this, only a structural engineer can really give you the accurate advice that you need, especially when it's something severe, of a severe nature like this now. So I would suggest that you hire a structural engineer to evaluate it, and based on that advice, make the repair, or have a contractor make the repair so you know it's done right.
Well, if you'd like your home to be more energy efficient, the first thing you have to do is stop wasting the energy that you've already got. So let's talk about insulation, because that's what's key to doing just that. Now, roughly 40% of the average home's energy usage is attributed to heating and cooling. So anything that you can do to lower the amount of energy that your HVAC system uses is definitely going to help lower those costs. Now, insulation is your home's best defense against high heating and, of course, high cooling costs. It's going to keep the heat from escaping your home, but it can also seal those air leaks to make sure that your HVAC system isn't wasting energy by pumping air outside.
Now, when choosing insulation, you have a few options. Fiberglass is a great option, and now we have the pink next-gen insulation from Owens Corning, which makes it really easy to use this material. It's not nearly as hard to work with as it had been in the past. Other options are loose-fill fiberglass, and for that, you can rent an Atticat machine from Owens Corning and do that yourself. Or, of course, you could also hire a pro for all of these things. And then cellulose insulation is still out there and still popular. It's made from recycled materials, which makes a nice environmentally friendly option, but that needs to be installed by a pro.
Now, spray foam is going to be the most modern type of insulation, and as that name suggests, it's sprayed onto the walls where it then rapidly expands to fill every nook and cranny. And spray foam isn't going to sag or slide down over time like other insulation materials can, and it also improves your home's air quality because it reduces outdoor allergens and pollutants.
Yeah, we use spray foam to insulate our very, very old home, and it made an amazing difference in the energy efficiency. If you'd like to see more how we use spray foam and what the options are with other types of insulation, we have a complete insulation guide on our website. So just check out the Money Pit Guide to Insulation. It's on the homepage right now.
Heading out to Wisconsin, Char's got a decorating question. Well, dilemma here. What's going on?
In our living room, kitchen, and hallway leading down to the bedrooms, we have laminate, which is a kind of a golden oak color. I don't know what to put in the bedrooms, which open up into the hallway. I want to put a brown because we don't want to put the same thing. We can't find it from the rest of it. And my husband wants to put gray. Can you tell us what would be best? We're going to do a vinyl.
All right, with that golden tone, whoa, I hate that golden tone. I'm so sorry to say it because I'm sure it's all over your house and you love it. But to me, it's always a difficult challenge because the golden has like these weird warm tones, but then still some sort of like yellow hint to it. So trying to match something to it or coordinate with can be challenging. On one hand, I like the idea of a gray, but it's got to be the right gray. It has to be sort of in that same warmish family with maybe some brown undertones so that they won't clash, but will kind of blend together. And it also depends if that golden tone of yours is on the warmer side or on the cooler side. I mean, you really have to get a sense of that color. I don't love the idea of the golden with a darker tone. I feel like there's nothing in that dark tone of wood flooring that kind of picks up any of that. That said, maybe it's not a wood look floor at all. Maybe it's a tile. Maybe it's a carpet. Maybe it's, something different. But the golden is always challenging. What do you think, Tom?
I agree with you. I think that sometimes the golden gets really too bright and it is hard to pull it down. And gray, I kind of like the gray idea, but only if it has those wood tones in it, those warm wood tones that's going to blend it. What you really have to do here is go to your flooring supplier. You can go to a store like LL Flooring and get some samples and lay them in there against that golden color that you love so much. And I think the answer will become apparent. Once you put enough samples in front of it, you'll get a real good feel for what the possibilities are. If you happen to have some of that existing Golden flooring, even better yet, you can go to the store and hold your current floor against a bunch of different options. And that, you said you wanted to go with vinyl. I think that's a great choice today. You have so many different extruded vinyl plank products, luxury vinyl plank products. They're just absolutely beautiful, super durable. And take a look at the Duravana, which is a type of stone hybrid, also 100% waterproof, super durable product, and very, very affordable that you'll find in LL Flooring. And I think once you find the one that has the right sort of connection with that Golden floor that you have right now, you'll be all set, and you'll both be happy. Hey guys, if you have a toilet that's been a hassle for you because it's noisy, it runs, it's wasting lots of water, we can solve that with today's giveaway. We've got a set of 3 super flappers from Fluid Master. It is a new flapper valve that does an amazing job on both 2-inch and 3-inch toilets, and it fits just about every toilet imaginable. It includes a new water adjustment feature that allows you to customize the water level in your tank to maximize your flush and save water. Super easy to install. Fluid Master is the best at doing videos to help homeowners install, replace the valves inside their toilets. It really is a pretty easy plumbing project, and you can check that out at fluidmaster.com. But we've got a set of 3 going out to one listener drawn at random. So make that you. You can update all the toilets in your house. The number again is 1-888-MONEYPIT, 888-666-3974.
Well, if you've got pets, you definitely love the snuggles, the playtime, and of course all the joy they bring, but maybe not the odors that they can also leave behind. To help, here are 7 effective ways that you can reduce pet smells and keep your home fresh.
That's right. So first up, good ventilation. That's really key. So opening windows, using fans to keep the air moving can make a big difference. Letting that fresh air circulate helps minimize those unwanted pet odors that linger in your living space. So keep that air moving.
Yeah, next, having a regular cleaning routine is super important. You want to make sure that you're consistently cleaning the pet bedding, the litter boxes, other areas where those pets love to hang out. And the more you stay on top of the cleaning, the less likely that those odors are to settle in.
Yeah, and here's a big one, air purification. You want to make sure you're using high-quality air purifiers, and that's the kind that have the HEPA filters. This can really help. These purifiers can catch pet dander, hair, and airborne particles that definitely contribute to those stubborn smells.
Now, another pro tip is to place air purifiers strategically, especially having one near your pet's favorite spots. So if you've got a litter box, maybe their food bowl, their bed, this is going to help tackle those odors before they get a chance to kind of spread out through the house.
That's right. But let's also talk about grooming, because a well-groomed pet sheds less and is less likely to bring allergens and outdoor odors into your home. Plus, it's great bonding time for you and your pet as well.
That's very true. Next, don't forget about those odor neutralizing products that are available. Enzyme-based cleaners, for example, don't just mask the smell. They actually break down what's causing the odor, those molecules right at the source, so then those odors are gone for good.
And finally, consider using washable and reusable fabrics for pet bedding and furniture covers. You can find beautiful fabrics that are pet resistant. Opt for odor resistant materials that can easily be thrown in the wash, and this is going to help you keep those odors in check through regular cleaning. All in, you and your pet will be much happier as a result.
Yeah, now we can't help with your pet's breath, but that's another story. Heading out to New Hampshire, we've got Debbie on the line who's looking for some help in learning about a product called Roof Max for her roof. What's going on?
I'm trying to find out about a company called Roof Max, ROOFMAXX. They are saying they have a spray to help seal up your tiles, your roof, 5-year warranty. Cheaper, of course, than putting on a new roof. 5 years would at least help me raise the money for a new roof. So I'd like to see if they are legit and how that works.
Yeah, it definitely can save you money because the application of Roof Max is a lot less expensive than replacing your roof. But what that is basically it's a rejuvenation treatment. They apply it to the roof and...
It's like a mask.
Well, it's an oil, right, that soaks in.
Yeah, it's like a hair mask. You put the oil in your hair and it makes your hair all smooth and luxurious and healthy again.
I don't use a hair mask, so I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the premise of it. When your hair gets dried out, you put an oil base or some sort of mask on and it rejuvenates. And that's kind of what Roof Max does for your roofing shingles.
Yeah, these guys have been at it a long time. They came from the roofing industry. They knew that there were millions and millions of tons of asphalt shingles being dropped in the landfills, and that if the shingle itself could be rejuvenated, if it could be sort of moistened in a way, that they could get some additional years out of it. So they developed a product that does just that. Now, full disclosure, RoofMax is a sponsor of the show, and that is frankly the reason we know so much about it, because we've looked at the company, we've looked at the research, and they've got a good reputation. Now, it doesn't work for all roofs. You have to have the RoofMax dealer come to your home and look at it and see if it's within the range where a RoofMax treatment will work. But when it does work, and if it is qualified, you can get at least 5 years out of this. And in your case, as you said, they'll give you some more time to save up for roof replacing. Because, Leslie, I don't think that that's anything that people do. They kind of wait for the big event.
Oh, for sure.
And they all of a sudden got to find the money.
Well, I also don't think people realize that this roof rejuvenation from RoofMax was even an option. So it's so great to learn that there is something that you can do. If the shingles are in the right state, they can be rejuvenated, and you can extend the life of that roof, which is fantastic and a huge cash saver.
So we're fans. Good luck with the project. Let us know how you make out.
Ed from New Jersey reached out to Team Money Pit and is asking, I want to have a storm door and exterior door combination installed. What product information can you give me?
Back in the day when the main door was made of wood and was not insulated, because wood has a very minimal amount of insulation by itself, storm doors were a good idea, and they did help. But then as we became more familiar with steel doors, they weren't as helpful. And then when you had steel doors that had lights in them, the window lights, the glass, then what happened was the storm doors, due to sort of, if you think about this, like the greenhouse effect, when the sun comes through the storm door glass and then strikes that metal door, it heats up, and the trim around the window panes would literally melt. I'm talking melt. So the bottom line is that you really don't need a storm door today. If you buy a good quality steel or fiberglass door, these are going to be far more energy efficient. The weather stripping systems are all integral to it. If you put that door in and it's straight and square, you're going to have no gaps around any of the sides or the top or the bottom of that door. So I don't think you need a storm door. What you might consider is a good quality screen door. That's what we have, a nice screen door, because this way you can have a door open and get some ventilation. But you definitely don't need a storm door. And if you do put one in, especially if you have a metal door, you could have problems with it.
All right, good to know. Now, Stephen wrote in saying that another door question, my door has a metal threshold that was previously connected to the cement foundation with glue. The threshold has come loose, and there's a large crack in the cement that expands the entire width of the door from jamb to jamb. I'd like to avoid buying a whole new door just for the threshold.
Yeah, I think filling that crack in seems like a good first step, Stephen. However, you want to make sure you do this with a good quality epoxy patching compound rather than just regular cement, because the regular cement is just not going to stick. Second, have you thought about Tapcon fasteners? Have you heard of Tapcon fasteners? Tapcon fasteners are really an amazing invention. They can be drilled right into the concrete, and they have excellent holding power in concrete or in the epoxy repaired areas. So you could attach the threshold directly to the concrete, and it's also going to give you a lot better holding power than any adhesive would.
Yeah, a Tapcon, truly is sort of this workhorse of anything you might need to do with masonry involved. So I've used Tapcons to put up shelves onto like a brick wall or something that you really have difficulty getting any other type of screw in. And what's so interesting is that they really do grab a hold, but they are super sturdy, super strong workhorses. And if you ever find that the masonry is starting to crumble, you can take like a little bit of metal wire and kind of crumble it up and stick it in the hole first and then drive the Tapcon in. And that kind of acts like a spiky anchor that goes and grabs a hold.
Good trick. This is the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with us. We hope you picked up a trick or two to help you take on some projects around your house, to help you fix, to help you maintain your home, your appliances, your heating systems, so you are totally ready for the winter, which is coming. Here it's fall. It's just fall now, but winter's going to be coming. We've had some really cold nights already. And so it's a great time to get those jobs done. Maybe insulation, whatever's on your to-do list, though. If you've got questions, remember, you can always turn to us 24/7 by calling us at 1-888-MONEY-PIT. Leslie answers the phone. She never sleeps, always gives you a great answer every single time. We appreciate that, Les.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sleeping at weird hours, right, Tom? I'm always answering the phone.
Absolutely. That's it for us. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti.
Remember, you can do it yourself,
but you don't have to do it alone.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.